killings, which I'm calling an epidemic. You can't name any other country.
America,
is there anything unique? Is there anything
yes.
unique about the United States that you could think about that may be related partly to the fact that there's those shootings and the fact that it's in America and that's something that the way that we do things? Just wondering, seeing if there's some kind of connecting the dots.
I would say definitely it's a cultural thing more than it is anything else. I wouldn't say it's video games. I wouldn't say it's TV violence. I wouldn't say it's those things. I mean, look, I grew up playing violent video games and watching violence on TV. We all did, but that doesn't make us crazy. That doesn't make us not be able to separate reality from fiction. Okay. Now, occasionally you get that one bad apple. Okay, that we know. Look, we all know that there's that one person that goes crazy. Okay, and everything that they say or do doesn't make sense. And maybe it's a temporary thing. Maybe it's a long-term thing. Maybe it's a birth defect. Maybe it's a disease. Maybe it's a disease.
I have one question.
But whatever.
I have one question.
Go ahead.
Did you ever watch, as a child, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood? Yes or no?
Yes.
Because it was his 50th or 70th anniversary about his testimony, which they're going to shut down the PBS thing. They're getting federally funded. And he was before some New Jersey governor.
I remember that.
And the guy's testified, and he's like, you see, Mr. Rogers, you see, I'm one of those tough guys, but and it was like, what? It's like literally like you hear these like old school legislators. Anyway, so he made his pitch, and you know what he's pitching about? He's like, we can produce better content. Like I do puppet shows and I sing songs instead of the cartoons of just kids pounding on each other. The data shows that that's not good. It creates, not healthy kids.
Gun violence
back then, and I think we'd all agree if no, I'm not fighting with you about that kind of thing, but just because you grew up on it doesn't mean you're not bad, but there, and you are, Eric, as you know, I love you. Number one, number two, I love the debate, and it's all for fun, as of course, and number three, in analyzing all of this, you may be someone that's ahead of the curve, and just because you feel and believe it's right for you, can you step back and say, not everyone maybe is wise or in control of their emotions or, reasonable and, have
And so you're saying if they're subjected to this, if they're subjected to violence and video games and movies, that they would turn violent because of that. Do you think that it shapes human behavior? Is what you're saying?
I'm saying that. I mean, listen. I'm saying that the things you put into your brain, to some people can have dramatic effects. To some people, it has no effect. I'm not using you as an example. I know that our world is
who I think would really like to weigh in on this?
Please.
Is Jamie Lowell.
Oh, my God. Has Jamie been waiting?
Yes.
That's not fair.
This is a good segment. I definitely was not putting sticky notes all over your monitor alerting you to this fact.
We don't have that much time with Jamie. He's just very impatient.
What he wrote,
I apologize in advance if he had to wait. I'm sorry. And he was listening to all that direct, too. Terrible. I did not want to be part of that. How did I get dragged into that? Seriously.
You were a major player in the end, actually. I was going to take that a totally different direction, but that's cool.
Hey, is America the best country in the world?
Who are you asking?
Yeah, you.
Eric. No, but it can.
Watch this. Let's ask Eric, and then let's ask Jamie.
Jamie Lowell.
Look, I think America's got its flaws. I think we've
answer yes or no for the love of God.
No,
are you a communist?
I mean, look, I think yes, I think it's the best country in the world. I think it's the best because we have the potential to be what we want to be or be greater than ourselves.
All right. Opportunity. Okay, enough.
Jamie I'm just Lowell. A nationalist. So
there we go.
Jamie Lowell's on. Let's hear some. Let's light up our night, Jamie Lowell. What's new and what's your favorite country?
Root for the home team.
I don't have a favorite country. I'm not real happy with this one. I want to work on making this one a little bit better.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Very careful.
What's going on?
Sticking it out here then.
This thing. I didn't hear anything.
Jamie, please report in of your whereabouts, what's going on, and let's talk for a minute. Let's first tell us what's going on where you are, then we can talk about Dana's event the other night.
Every month, Grow Green puts on an event for their clientele. They have a couple of major vendors. Sometimes they fly in from all over the place to get more in-depth presentation on their products. It's really cool, actually. I've been here for the last year and a half throughout the life of this series, and it's just a really cool thing that Grow Green does for people. So I update people on what's going on with the legalization effort and some major points of interest, the MMFLA rollout and things like that, and talk about a few action items. And I brought up the effort of the Michigan Medical Marijuana Association and Comorn Law to get more qualifying conditions added to the list tonight, and that was well received.
We can actually talk on that a little bit. We can actually talk on that a little bit. I know there's other things you want to mention, but why don't you get through your list, and then we can return to that.
I talked about support for House Resolution 1227 on a national level, support for Rep. Lucido's bill, obviously, forfeiture reform, and to elect Dana Nessel to be our next Attorney General, which, of course, was the basis of the fundraiser last night that we'll recap a little bit. But if you want to talk about the excellent project that you're involved with, that's cool, too.
What excellent project? One second.
Let's talk about
Petitions.
The petitions.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's also the PAC that people may or may not know about. Chad, why don't you explain that a little bit?
There's a Putting Patients First PAC. We can take contributions from the public and from companies, and we can disperse them to any committee or any political expenditure that we'd like. And we have various different outlets for that. Of course, Dana Nessel's one of them, and we have other politicians that we are supporting at this point, like Dan Haberman and Jeff Irwin. And there are more that are going to be on that list as well as we go through the campaign season. I don't know that everybody that we've had on Planet Green Trees has met the bar yet.
Right. Would you say
we're going to have a lot of people on the show during the election season. They're not all going to meet the bar of candidates that are going to be able to.
Would you say Tristan
contributions.
Cole would meet the bar?
No.
Let's not rule him out. We
No.
want to get him on the show. Jamie,
Are we going to get Sri Tanadar back on?
Jamie, Jamie, we had a great event where we talked about the event. Jamie, was there anything else we wanted to talk about? I want to talk about the whatever. Let's talk about the event, though. Chad mentioned something about the other candidates. I kind of feel that way, too. And I tried to introduce Dana like this, that I was joking with Jamie after I introduced her. I want to go back up. Feel like I left some stuff on the table. I wanted to tie some things together. Anyways, all right. So, but it's hard to get excited about a candidate these days. It's easy to hate a candidate, that we know. It's really to be antagonistic of what you don't like, but to actually get excited about a candidate is something that's rare.
Yeah.
Most people don't do that.
One of the things, though, that just happened that I found very interesting is all three of the Democrat candidates for governor came out and said that they supported commuting sentences of marijuana offenders, nonviolent marijuana offenders, after the legalization passes. And I thought that was pretty cool.
Well, here's my point. When I introduced Dana, I don't know, there's a lot of people that are coming forward. We've had them on the show. Some want to come back on because they've thought about it more, and they want to revisit this policy. Remember, we had someone, and that's okay. I mean, it's a learning process, but I kind of feel like it's now the popular thing to do. They know that there's a lot of voters. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying what you said before, though, is exactly right, and I continue with that point. She brings so much energy that she's getting people who are, disgruntled Dems, but also independents and Republicans and others excited about getting involved and being aware of these issues and how they can help. And she's demonstrating herself to be the best candidate, regardless of party affiliation, for this position. And she's got that kind of excitement that she's creating with this campaign, and that is pretty cool. That is unique in all this too.
She is pulling a bunch of Republicans and independents to sign up as Democrats, which I find fascinating.
Blowing.
Well, the Democratic Party kind of screwed up on not riding that wave with Bernie a little bit, I think, and here's an opportunity to kind of do something, good for themselves.
Yeah.
Fuck Pat Miles, too, by the way.
Yeah, they could actually win with Dana.
Get behind Dana. Yeah.
Well, here you go. This is my thing. First of all, on the marijuana issue, and I kind of introduced her, Chad, from the get-go, she was on this issue and was more, very knowledgeable. She wanted to be, and whatever, it's just in the know, and she wanted us to know that. She knows what's been happening. And there's a lot of people that are kind of getting bored and they're not as involved on the issue. So I was saying, when I introduced her, they can come all day. They're Johnny come lately, as far as I'm concerned, unless they got a pot leaf on their website, right? I mean,
yeah.
If that's then you're in.
Yeah.
There's no flip flapping in favor of reform. You know what I mean?
You got to say yes to everything then.
I think the two questions would be, why do you want to be a politician? And before asking any question about cannabis, do you have a marijuana leaf on your website? That's how the questions are going to go, 1 and 2. All right. The other thing that I like about this particular position, someone correct me if I'm wrong, but you elect a candidate that's a legislator, a judge, or whatever. Their ability to do what you want directly, or their authority to actually promulgate any kind of significant change is so rare. Judges, there's the law. They can't, not going to change. They're going to rely on the law. They're supposed to. Legislatures, even if they want to do something, they got to move a majority of people. The Attorney General in that position does make policy for the law enforcement community. They make governmental policy. They write opinions. And within those policies, the government agents are to follow. I'm not overcommitting her. I don't know what she's going to do, but I'm saying there's something exciting about that kind of implementation. It's kind of like the what's Trump doing? He does those.
Trying to arm teachers.
No, presidential orders. What are those things that he's doing?
Executive orders.
Executive orders. Like an executive order, kind of.
Executive order, Michael. Executive order.
I'm here for a brief moment. This man's valuable time. We have Tony from Grow Green, who put on this great event tonight. He stopped by for a second notice. He heard the mellifluous tones of Michael's voice and came over to see what was going on.
I heard Michael talking about data now. No.
So I have a question for Tony. Tony, do you like your political candidates to be good, or do you like them to be bad?
I would like them to be right in the middle, but more to the left of the positive side. So good could be positive, but let's make sure, because negative could be positive too. So let's not go too far sideways on that.
You want the awesome Dana Nessel or the complete piece of shit Patrick Miles?
I think there's only one choice for 2018, and we know that's Dana. So let's just take care of what we have.
Missing from all this joy. Hold on. Missing from all this joy is the absence of a gigantic check from Grow Green into our PAC for better purposes, or to Dana's campaign herself.
Righteous.
Think about it. Make sure he's on some kind of what do you call those boards?
We're always there for you, but we actually have a stage for her to come present at. I can't wait to have a fundraiser here, Michael. Where you and your whole posse can come out and help support the next Attorney General of 2018 in Michigan, where we can get Bill Schuette out of that office. Let's just go forward, Michael. Let's do it.
All right. We'll lock that in right now.
That doesn't sound like anybody writing a check. But
that's all for
I guarantee Bill Schuette's going to be out of that office.
Can we get an update?
The currency could be of many ways. The currency is just a figment of your imagination. If you think it's the dollar, there's many ways to move energy, so just move it.
You can imagine a bunch of money in the account. It'll materialize.
Namaste. Yeah. So, just on a
Josh has something to say.
What's the current status of the legalization?
Detroit blockchain
is it still in the?
Yeah, Jamie, report on the legalization. I know the answer, but let me hear what you know.
The answer is we're still waiting for the Secretary of State to confirm the amount of signatures. They did create the obligatory 10-day window where people can challenge the signatures that they're using for their sample for any reason, and nobody did that. And so now they are going to, as they've told people, finish up with the prevailing wage issue, which is a recount, and then after that, get to ours. So hopefully in a few days, we'll get confirmation, but that's all I know at the moment.
Okay, all right. And is that process unfolding the way that you expected, and will continue?
There's a window of time that they're supposed to have this done, and they are exceeding that, but they are saying that it's because of these other things. The other thing, I guess not to defend them, but that is true, there was a director of that group for about 20 years, and just in the last few months, a new person took his place, and so they aren't as functioning, with the same guy there for so long, and they have a lot to do this particular season with initiatives and things like that are on their plate. So they're saying that they just going to do it all in order and do it the best they can, and we're on the list, and we don't have any reason to believe there's anything sinister happening. If it gets really stretched out, I'm sure somebody's going to have to do something, but they're just saying that